Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sage Live of October 2025. My name is Giulia Lanza. I'm a material scientist. I work at SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory. I'm the co-founder of the Sage Journey program, and I'm going to be your master of ceremonies today. Before we start, let me briefly explain what the Sage Journey is and how Sage Live fits in the Sage Journey. Sage Journey is a program whose mission is to inspire and encourage students to explore STEM careers for their future. We do this by offering free summer camps, paid internship, professional growth session, and support the Sage X clubs in your high school. And we have many other opportunities to connect with professionals who care about you and your future. So this webinar, this Sage Live, is part of the Sage Journey. It's an online gathering of students who have attended the summer camp or the Sage X Club and are curious about the next step in their Sage Journey. It's time to reconnect with a volunteer. We gather via Zoom and we cover topics usually relevant for your journey. There are career-related or exciting topics, technology topics like quantum computing, AI, machine learning. What we're going to discuss today. Today, we're going to talk about paid internship at national laboratories. You will learn about internship opportunities at 7 national laboratories, and you'll have the chance to hear directly from the lab representatives about programs designed for both college students and high school students. This is the agenda. We're gonna talk about why an internship is important very briefly, and then go over 2 types of internship. Some internships that are present in many national laboratories, and there are SULI and CCI, and they're sponsored by the Department of Energy. And then internships that are lab specific, so that they are available only in one of the various labs. So we want you to apply for both, and we'll tell you why. At the end, there's going to be a Q&A session. So whether you're curious about STEM careers or already planning your next steps, this is a great opportunity to discover how you can get involved in a national laboratory and in an internship. Okay, why it is important for you to complete an internship? First of all, you get connected with STEM professional, engineer, scientists, physicists, but not only that. There's going to be manager, there's going to be technician, there's going to be a lot of people that work around in the national laboratory, and they are not necessarily related to STEM, but they help move the lab move forward and help all the other people do their job. So you're gonna meet a lot of interesting people. Then you're gonna increase awareness of your potential major, because there's gonna be a lot. There's a lot of innovation that is happening at the national lab. Lot of type of researches, and so you can choose and see what you're interested in, and see what major you might be interested in. Also, there's a lot of equipment that are high tech. There are accelerators at national laboratories, electron microscopes, spectrophotometry and laser, and chips and controllers, a lot of innovation and technology that you get to use and experiment with. So you can really do research with a lot of tool. And so there are benefits for completing an internship. You gain new skills, and that's very important. It's great for your scholarship application and your job application. It demonstrates that you really are hands-on, that you really are interested in what you're doing, and you have already some experience. You can learn what you like and you don't like, because sometimes you do an internship and you say, this subject really is not interesting. I don't want to pursue that. And the sooner you know that, the better it is. Then, last but not least, internships are paid. So you get paid during the summer and you build a network, both, as we said, with professional, mentor, and manager, but mainly with a lot of peers, fellow interns that have the same interests, are your age, and are motivated as you. So it's a great, great opportunity. Just want to make sure that you follow some of these actions. We sent you a video to watch about tips when applying to an internship. That video is very informative. It has a lot of steps that you need to follow when you apply to an internship. And if you have the highest, if you want the highest chances of success, look at that video. I really encourage you to do that. Second thing, if you apply to an internship to a national lab, inform mysagejourney.org, inform us and the SAGE coordinator of your local lab, because they can help you with that. As I said, you need to apply to more than one internship because competition is high. And so first you want to have more choices in terms of scientific topics, and then you want to have more chances. So not only one internship, apply to at least two. But remember, the application process for every internship is different, the deadlines are different, so you need to pay attention to that. Said that, I want to hand it over to Faith Dukes. She's going to talk about SULI and CCI internship, and this is the first of our sequence of internship that we will go over today.
Thanks, Julia. So hi, everybody. My name is Faith Dukes, and I'm Director of our STEM Education and Workforce Programs at Berkeley Lab. That's in California. And yes, I'll be talking about our SULI and CCI internships, and I'll get into what that stands for in a second. So on the next slide, we have a look at the full complex of the 17 Department of Energy National Laboratories. We are a full complex of laboratories that do wonderful work with our mission of securing America's security and prosperity by addressing energy, environmental, and nuclear challenges through transformative science and technology solutions. That's all of us working individually at our individual national labs and together as a full complex. I'd also like to say that, as Julia just said, many of the programs, the SULI and CCI programs especially, are implemented across all of the national laboratories. So we'd love you to come to the California National Labs or New Mexico or Tennessee, but you also have a selection of national laboratories across the country that are doing really great work that might align best with what you're thinking about for a future career. So now I'll go into those SULI and CCI programs that we talked about. So on the next slide, you'll see the two names spelled out. So CCI stands for Community College Internship, and SULI stands for Science Undergraduate Laboratory Internship. All of these programs offer a weekly stipend and travel and campus housing support, and they are either 10 or 16 weeks throughout the year. For basic eligibility, these internships are for STEM majors at least 18 years or older. You do provide a resume, transcript, and recommendation letters, and a minimum GPA is 3.0 for SULI and 2.7 with a letter explaining, if there were any issues with your first couple of semesters that you're working out of for the CCI program if you have below a 3.0. You do have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident to apply for this program, and our application period is from October to January. Right now, the applications are on hold due to the current shutdown, but they should be opening by the end of the month, and you can go into the portal and at least start to set up your account within the links that we'll share out later for your application to start once the portal fully opens for this summer's 2026 term. So on the next slide, you'll see, again, a look at the SULI program and its benefits. It's either you can do it for fall and spring full-time, so 40 hours a week. For 16 weeks, summertime, it's a 10-week internship. You engage in research projects under the guidance of our laboratory staff and engineers. You have access to cutting edge research, facilities, and collaborations, and you get a lot of professional development and networking opportunities in a wonderful, supportive environment. There's a weekly stipend of about $650 for these internships that also support housing. There's also a housing stipend for some interns. Others have housing on site or support you in finding housing if you're going somewhere far away from where you live. You do receive some kinds of on-site transportation. Typically, a lot of us have shuttles, as you have seen when you were on in the Sage program. Round trip travel from your host laboratory back to your permanent residence. And then again, the eligibility currently enrolled as a full-time student when you apply, completed at least one semester as an undergraduate. Recent college and university graduates can also participate up to 2 years post-graduation. So this is a great opportunity if you want a year in between, say, graduating from undergrad and going into another field or another space, or going on to graduate school or industry. You have this opportunity to get some research in between graduating and moving on to whatever the next chapter is in your life. Again, minimum GPA of 3.0, must be 18, and a US citizen or permanent resident. So there's the link. And again, October is typically when the application's opening, and then it closes in January. Yes, we will talk about high school internships for students, but right now we're focusing on our college internships. So these are only for college. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about CCI program or SULI and CCI application components. So again, if you are at a 4 or 2 year institution, so I think we want to go back one maybe to the CCI. There we go. So just the same thing. So CCI is during fall, spring, and summer for 10 weeks for most national labs. You're encouraged if you are at a community college to apply to this program, especially if you want to be in a technical career that's relevant to the DOE mission. You also have opportunities to engage with research and collaborations that are really cutting edge and participate in professional development. These again are similar support and eligibility key dates. And again, application is through October into January. So now I think I'm ready to go to that last point, which is application components. And so encouraged to respond to application questions and essays. You want to include your research experience. So those of you who've done high school research, you want to talk about that. You want to talk about your courses, your research interest, and personal experience and professional goals within your essays. These are super helpful for you to match up with your mentor. Many of us also encourage you to reach out to some of the mentors that you believe may be of interest, and you can reach out to us as your SAGE point of contacts in order to learn more about how to reach out to potential mentors. You are going to need to share your transcripts. So you're going to submit your transcript from your university and college that you have attended at least up to 5 years prior to enrollment at the current institution that you're at, or your transcripts that you have at your current institution if you've only attended one higher ed institution. You're going to remove all your personal information, or what we call PII, and you do need 2 recommendation letters. So please keep that in mind as you're applying. These components also are reflected in a lot of the other internships and opportunities that you are going to see throughout some of what we're talking about. So now we are going to transition over to our individual and lab specific internship opportunities. So I'm going to turn it over to Jen from Fermilab to talk about, if you are over in Illinois or thinking about going to somewhere in Illinois, what you can be doing with that specific laboratory. So I think
Thank
we're
you, Faith. All right. So Fermilab, as Faith just mentioned, is in Illinois. It's outside of Chicago, about 30 miles west of Chicago. and it focuses on particle physics and accelerators. So we are studying things like, how did the universe begin? What do the particles that make up the universe, what secrets do they hold, and how can they help us understand how space and time work in the universe? So the lab has been around since 1967. We've been focused on the things I just mentioned. And there's a lot of really cool technology there. So some of these images that I'm showing on the right are some of the detectors that we build to study these really tiny particles that are not visible to the human eye, but we have very sensitive detectors that can detect them. We have a really large campus. It's about 6,000 acres, and that's the bottom left picture there. The two rings are what you see are the big accelerator rings where we accelerate particles and smash them into stuff and watch what happens. And then we also have a herd of bison, because that land that our lab is on was originally native owned prairie land, and we have one of the most, I think, genetically pure herds of bison that remains in the United States. So that's kind of just a cool feature, and the lab is open that the public can just come in and see the bison, and you get to drive past them every day as you come into work. So if you go to the next slide. I'm not going to give we have a very long list of internships, and my colleague Cortez Watkins is here. He's involved with many of the internship programs, and he'll be able to answer questions about those if you have specific questions. I didn't want to put the whole long list because you can easily go to this website either by typing in the code there or by going to the QR code. And you'll see the list, and it tells you about each of the internships and what you need to do to apply. And then we also have some other things that may be interesting to you through our education program. So we have something called Saturday Morning Physics, which is a multi-week long program for 9th through 12th graders that's free, and you learn about different types of physics. There's an in-person component if you are nearby, or you can also do it online. And then we have a new program that's a similar format that's called Saturday Morning Quantum that was just launched this past year to help people learn also about quantum physics and the types of things we're trying to study with that. So instead of showing you the list of internships, I wanted to give you some examples of what kinds of things you might do in an internship. So on the next slide, I think I have a couple of examples of past internship programs. So these pictures are all students that we've worked with over the past year or two. In the one that's to the farthest right, that's 3 interns from 3 different ranges of internships. So there's a high school intern in that photo, a college intern, and a graduate school intern. And then our mentor, Minerva Betancourt, who's a really fantastic mentor, and she really loves working with students. So you can see there's some lab space. So some of the things that these interns have done is building, designing and operating and build a little small detector that's helping us understand the mysteries of the universe. We do a lot of research focused on a type of particle called neutrinos, and we build this, I think, is the coolest sounding detector, a liquid argon time projection chamber. So we have a lot of liquid argon time projection chambers on site, and they are collecting data, studying neutrinos. And so we've had many of our interns in the past have joined in the group of scientists who are studying this and start to analyze that data and look at what kinds of cool things can you see in there? Is there anything unexpected? Can we see the things we do expect? So that's pretty fun. There's also, if you're more interested in the theoretical underpinnings of what goes into, like, why is the universe the way it is, we have internships that can focus on doing theoretical work to understand what we're seeing in our detectors. There's also R&D. So maybe you have an idea for for a new type of detector, or you might get paired up with a scientist who has an idea for building a new type of detector, and they want to start with a very small prototype, and then you'll help them build that. And then other things like to make our detectors operate smoothly, we have to make sure we understand them deeply. And so commissioning is something that when we're bringing up a new detector, we have to study all of the electronics and the readout and the high voltage and everything, and make sure we understand all of that so that when the data come out of the detector, we can understand that it was actually what we're looking for and not just some random noise source that happen to look like signal. And then I won't read through these here, but we have a couple of quotes from interns, from past interns, and you can see that they really enjoy themselves. And then our mentors also really enjoy themselves. So do look through the list that we have and see if you have any questions, and then Cortez and I can try to answer those at the end if you do. And now I will pass it on to Brookhaven.
All right, good morning or afternoon, depending where you are from. I am zooming to you all the way from Long Island, New York. So I saw that the majority of you are in California. Well, I'm on the opposite coast. Brookhaven National Lab is an incredible facility. We have over 5,000 acres of land, home to several hundred buildings, and about 5,000 people who work there. And we are a multidisciplinary lab. So while I pointed out about 5 different research areas at the lab, this doesn't even begin to cover all the research that we do. But you'll see that top left corner, that is one of our detectors from our relativistic heavy ion collider. So nuclear physics and uncovering the structure of matter is an incredibly important project for us. We're currently finishing up our run and preparing for an upgrade to the electron ion collider that will hopefully come online in the next 6 or 7 years. We have many accelerators on site. In the top right-hand corner is our other user facility, the National Synchrotron Light Source 2. This was opened a little over 10 years ago, where we use some of the brightest light in the entire world, where we can do spectroscopy, microscopy, structural biology projects. It really is a multidisciplinary tool that is a dream to use. But we've also started doing a lot more work in the quantum information area, using AI for solving some of our scientific challenges, accelerating isotope production, working on plant biology research as well. Like I said, multidisciplinary, there's a lot of areas of research. If you're interested, I highly recommend you head to the BNL website so you can learn a little more about all of the different research areas. You can go to the next slide. All right. We have a lot of opportunities. I'm going to do a brief rundown of all of them. If you're interested, I highly recommend you go to the different websites. So for our high school programs that I listed here, all 3 are local programs. So unfortunately, there is no housing or transportation provided. While I know this is focused on paid internships, I did want to point out our high school research program. That is unpaid, but that is a highly competitive 6-week research program for students that are interested in science, engineering, technical, or even technology areas. But our 2 paid programs that are open to high school students include our user facility summer school and our big data and application summer school. Our user facility summer school is not just open to high school seniors, it's also open to freshmen and sophomore college students. So that is an opportunity to come to Brookhaven National Laboratory and learn more about our user facilities, including the National Synchrotron Light Source 2, our Tandem Van de Graaff, and our Center for Functional Nanomaterials. So this does have a stipend associated with it. And so does our Big Data and Application Summer School. So this is being offered along with Jefferson Lab, or J Lab. So this program is also for upper high school students or college students. And this is a little bit of a longer program. So this program is about 5 weeks long. There will be holding next summer. We don't have dates for it just yet. But it does have a stipend. And in this program, students will learn more about machine learning and artificial intelligence and work on their own project throughout that experience. So the other programs I've listed here are just open to college students. So we do participate in the supplemental undergraduate research program. So this is a research opportunity for students that may have funding coming from other sources. So maybe you're in college and you do have funding from your college and don't have a place to do it. Well, Brookhaven may be a great opportunity for you. So that's for any type of external funding source. In addition to that, we also have our C2QA Quantum Summer School. So if you're interested in learning more about quantum information science, this is a great way to do it. So this past year, this was a virtual summer school, a 2-week virtual summer school, where students learned more about the research that we're doing and some of the underlying technologies and the novel capabilities that can come from them by unlocking quantum mechanics. So these programs, we'll get them updated for next year as well. But these are great opportunities for those that maybe don't live close to Brookhaven National Laboratory. That might be one you might be interested in. Now, I saw in the chat that someone talked about internships for those that are non-STEM as well. Our science communication internship is a great opportunity for anyone that may be interested in more of a journalism or media and communications route, but also interested in science. So this is offered to undergraduate and graduate students who are interested in science, writing, and communication. This is a full-time on-site internship. So this does have eligibility for transportation and housing needs as well. And this is a great way to work with our own writers on site and learn more about how to communicate the science that's being done at Brookhaven National Laboratory. Now, our next program here is our mini semester program. I saw someone else in the chat was asking about school year programs. Mini semester is actually in January. That is a 1-week program, usually the first full week of January. And it's an introduction to the different research that we do at the laboratory. So getting to learn more about not just our scientific, but our engineering projects as well. Meeting a lot of the staff that we have on site, per going on tours of the different facilities. So you do have to be enrolled in a full-time college or university and majoring in a STEM discipline to be eligible for this program. And like I said, it's a 1-week program in January. And last but not least here, we have our Non-Proliferation and International Nuclear Safeguards in a Changing World program. This is a 1-week program. This is held during the summer. And you must be entering or recently completed graduate school in order to be eligible for this program. And I'm not sure if anyone's quite at that point yet, but I did just want to point that out, that is another option for the summer as well. All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And we're moving on to our next lab.
Thank you, Amanda. Great job. Thank you. And now it's time for Allison. Is Allison here?
It's Anna.
Oh, it's time for Anna. Okay. Oh, yes. Sorry. Apologize.
It's all
Anna,
good.
Anna, here you go, our star from Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Anna Lebet, and I'm a physicist at Los Alamos National Laboratory. And I'm talking to you from the J. Robert Oppenheimer Library at Los Alamos. So for those of you who don't know, Los Alamos National Laboratory has a long history. It started during the Manhattan Project. And it was very important to help us overcome World War II and end it somehow. We are a very large laboratory. We have grown through the years. We have about 18,000 employees at the moment. So imagine a little, a mid-sized town is the laboratory. Last year we had nearly 2,000 students. And the thing that I want to convey to you all, and I put it at the bottom of the slide, is the SAGE mission is basically how many of us, this trajectory ended up as scientists or as a staff at the laboratory. We started as students. In my case, I came from abroad as a postdoc, and I got converted, which means that I got hired after my postdoc internship. And as you see here on the right-hand side, on average, 17% of our students are converted into staff members at some point in time. So it's very important that you listen and understand why we are trying to share with you all this information, because the opportunities are endless. Can we move to the next slide? please. So Los Alamos National Lab at a glance, we have very large facilities, accelerators, high magnetic fields, Center for Integrated Nanotechnology, blah, blah, blah. These are all keywords if you want, but we try to tackle things that are challenging. So we need the greatest minds and the hardworking people. And we are at 7,300 feet. We are high up, and the laboratory basically is located next to a mega volcano. I put on the middle of the slide a map of the United States, so you figure out where New Mexico is for those on the east and the west coast, and where Los Alamos is. And one beautiful thing is we are 15 minutes from a ski resort. We are so high up that basically, you can just take your car and go skiing, in winter. And on the right-hand side, you can see our ski slopes. There are tons of career opportunities for a variety of skill sets, and other people have mentioned it already. We need historians, we need project managers, we need machinists, we need welders, we need physicists, we need engineers, we need all sorts of people. And our main areas, I took all these from the website, right? We are focused on operations because we do the operations well and safely. We're huge. So imagine it's very complicated to manage all these. We also work very hard in science and technology. And also in all those fields you can imagine, from supercomputers, AI, chemistry, physics, engineering, biology, and to be able to help the country in any threats that might come. And we also work in the weapons program. So we have to work with tricky materials or tricky engineering if you want. For the first time in my life, I did a word cloud because I couldn't put here all the kind of skills that were needed in these three areas, right? So in the middle of the slide, you can see I just put all the kind of skill sets, that I could find in the different areas. And I didn't realize that engineers was the word that came out more often in the three areas of operations: science and technology and weapons. We have about, as I mentioned, 2,000 students every year. And I just want to share 26 of them last year came from the SAGE program. And those students have been coming, often once you have an internship, you can keep coming if you have this relationship with your mentor and the project. Next. So how do we do that? Well, we offer internships at all levels in all sorts of fields: STEM, business, and more. We have high school, undergraduate, and when you are post-associate, post-bachelor's, graduate, post-master's, postdocs, and all these things that came later in life. One definition is important, is that we call a high school student someone who is in the summer after their 11th grade. So if you're at the summer of your 12th grade, after you are done with high school, if you are enrolled into college, you qualify at Los Alamos National Laboratory as undergrad. So at the bottom of that slide, you will see the links of high school internships, links of information for undergrad, and so on. So you have the minimum requirement in terms of GPA. For high school, we only take high schoolers, so the summer of your 11th grade, that are attending high school in New Mexico. One thing that is very important is that you need to be able to pass a drug test to be an intern. So it's mind what you do outside of school and things like that. Another thing that is very important is that when you apply for an internship, please reach out to the state representatives at LANL. We are here to help you. We are here to help you with your resume and to guide you. On the right-hand side of the slide, you see https lanl.jobs. I show you how to reach the advertised internships for high schoolers, undergrads, graduates, and so on. So you just need to go to that website, click there and you will see what's kind of internships in which kind of fields. But remember also that the early bird gets the worm. If you wait until the last minute, like in April, after you are done with your tests to apply for internships, very likely those internships have already been taken. So work with us. As you heard from the video that was sent to you yesterday, it's great when you work on your internship preparation when you are not during classes, like in your time off, like holidays, Thanksgiving, or so on, so you can put your full attention on it. And the last thing is we also have summer schools. And in the summer schools, you can also come to Los Alamos. Technically, you are not an intern, and attend those paid summer schools. Thank you. And our next speaker comes from Oak Ridge.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much for the overview about what is happening at LANL for internship. That's great. We're going to hand it over to Faith Dukes. She's going to talk about both Oak Ridge National Laboratory and after that, Berkeley National Labs. So thank you, Faith, for taking over.
All right. Thanks, Julia. So yes, I am speaking briefly about Oak Ridge National Laboratory, which is located on the East Coast in Tennessee. They are another interdisciplinary national laboratory with greater than 7,000 employees, and they also have a large internship group with taking in over 1,000 interns per year, especially in 2025. They have 8 DOE user facilities. So those facilities that people come to that only the national labs can support that have been talked about before, like the particle accelerators, supercomputers, and other facilities that allow people to solve big issues. They cover everything from biology, environment, to fusion, isotopes, energy science, and national security issues that they are looking at, and they specialize in computing AI and quantum right now. They have a focus on neutrons and materials chemistry and nuclear physics. So this is all happening again in Tennessee at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Next, on the next slide, they do have high school programs as well as college programs. So they have the Next Generation STEM Internship, and I believe that is a local program for students that are local in Tennessee to apply to and be a part of. It is a program that they commute to each day during the summertime, as well as a college program for Pathways to Computing internship program, learning about high performance computing. They have a research summer internship for college students, as well as technical and professional internships that are specific to Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Oak Ridge also supports the CCI and SULI program, but these that are listed here are the specific programs to their the work that they do. So I'll go to the next slide for I think Berkeley Lab. So I wanted to start off by putting the two websites that are here for Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. K12education.lbl.gov is for high school students to look at, and then education.lbl.gov for undergraduate students and higher graduate students, postdocs, to look at if they're looking for opportunities in internships at our laboratory. And you can see here that we have a number of activities that happen across the lab, but I'll go to the next slide to kind of introduce us a little bit more. So on the next slide, you'll see Ernest Orlando Lawrence, who is the founder of Berkeley Lab in 1931, all the way to Dr. Mike Witherell, who is our current director for the laboratory, and that's our particle accelerator in the background, or the ALS Advanced Light Source. We do have 6 scientific areas that we focus on. So we are another interdisciplinary laboratory, from biosciences to physical sciences, computing, or energy sciences, earth and environmental, and energy technologies. We cover a number of disciplines in the scientific areas for the national labs, and our slogan is bringing science solutions to the world. You can see us by the numbers. We are a little bit smaller than the laboratories that have been talking earlier. We have about 4,000 employees. We have from K-12 to college students about 500 that come in through the summertime, especially. We've had 17 Nobel Prize winners at the laboratory with 17 national medals and 16 elements founded on the periodic table. So we have a long history of innovation and discovery at the lab. And the biggest thing that we always talk about is for Lawrence, the biggest contribution to science is bringing people together to solve issues and solve problems in science. And so that's what we try to hold on to, of people working in teams or team science for doing science in the modern world. On the next slide, I'll show a little bit of our high school and undergraduate internships. So again, for high school students, k12education.lbl.gov is where you go. Higher education, education.lbl.gov. But for our high school programs, we do have 2 DOE supported programs. That's our Berkeley Lab Director's Apprenticeship, or our Introductory Pathways to Machine Learning and Data Science, we also call it. Our Q-Camp, which is the Introduction to Quantum. You don't need to know anything about quantum for most of these programs. We just say at least that you've taken algebra and that you are at least 16 by the start of the program. We cannot have anyone enrolled in a program that is under 16. That is a paid opportunity. We do have a traditional 6-week internship program that's experiences in research. And 2 of our other areas, our biosciences supports the introductory college level experience in microbiology, or ICLM, and then our physics area supports the physics in and through cosmology workshop. All of these programs take place during the summertime. Most of those applications open the first week of February. So this year they opened in 2025. Next year they'll open first week of February 2026. For the community college and SULI internship programs, that's what we mostly or mainly support for our undergraduate internships. We also have a number of external internships you'll find on our website, and our computing sciences area also has another internship that they support, that we help go back and forth with, to allow students to know more about computing. So you are able to apply directly to our computing science area, which does support science and IT internships. I'll also say for the high school internship, especially experiences in research, that does cover STEM and STEM adjacent roles. So we have had people work in communications, as well as work on quantum projects, as well as work on our particle accelerator, and work in interviewing guest speakers for our career talk series. So there's a number of things that you can do as a part of the high school programs, and there's a lot of technical and science related opportunities in our other areas. And some of our staff members, say from our finance office to our strategic communications office, does actually hire directly interns during the summer. So it's something that you could check in with your, again, point of contact for the SAGE program and follow up with them about next steps. And so with that, I'll pass it to our next laboratory. I think that's coming up. Lawrence
Thank
Livermore.
you. Thank you, Faye. That's great. Yeah, Lawrence Livermore, Joanna is gonna talk about the internship at this big national labs.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Joanna Albala. I'm the Science Education Program Manager at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. And I think I'd like to start with the next slide to talk a little bit about the type of science we have at Livermore. All right, go back. It didn't make it. That's okay. So Lawrence Livermore was founded in 1952 by Ernest Lawrence, who also founded Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. And we are a national nuclear security laboratory. We have over 9,500 employees, and we have typically between 800 and 900 interns in the summer. You can see that is a picture of the past summer intern cohort from 2025. We have 7 core competencies at the laboratory, which include bioscience and biotechnology, lasers and optical science, isotopic science, computing and data science, and several others. If you go to our main page website, you can see these 7 core competencies. But basically, the point is that anything that you could really think of in science, technology, engineering, and math is happening at Lawrence Livermore, as is true of all the other labs that have spoken today. So one of the things I want to encourage anybody who's interested in doing an internship, whether it's at Livermore or at another lab, is to go on the website and look at these core competencies that we've discussed today, whether it's at Livermore, Berkeley, Fermi, SLAC, Los Alamos. There's a wealth of knowledge in looking at the kind of research that we do. For example, if you find your way to there it is, our bioscience page, or our engineering page that discusses our different advanced manufacturing projects, you can find the type of work and the people. And most importantly, when you apply to one of these internships at any of the labs, put that in your cover letter. Say that I was a SAGE intern. It's very important, or a SAGE camper, and at what lab. It's very important to write a cover letter with your application. It helps the reader of your application direct it. It tells us about your interests. It gives us some background, even if it seems redundant to you because it's on your resume. Tell the story of I was a SLAC camper at this camp, and then I'm really interested in this technology. So I noticed on your website that you do this project. Really try to help us find a really good placement and good mentor for you at our lab so that we can help you along your STEM career journey. So these again are the Livermore core competencies. There is an absolute wealth of information on our website about the different projects, all available at llnl.gov if somebody wants to put that in the chat. If you go to the next slide, or the slide that's about our internships, Lawrence Livermore also, one back, I think. Also, there we go, has internships that include SULI and CCI. And the way SULI and CCI work is you actually are applying through the Department of Energy. And in that application, you tell on your application which labs you prefer to be placed at. And then our laboratories, whichever ones they are, that get your application, then help to find an appropriate mentor on our site. So there's a number of ways that you can get an internship at Lawrence Livermore Lab. One way is through the SULI or CCI program, and another way is to apply directly through the links that I've provided on this slide. So SULI and CCI are externally funded programs. They're funded by the DOE, and we place you at our lab. We also have a number of internally funded programs, which means that our individual directorates or divisions like bio or engineering are posting for a summer student. And I went online this morning, and several of our divisions already have their summer postings for undergraduates online. And like Anna said, apply early, apply to several, and let us know. So if you're applying to something at Livermore, please reach out to me so that I know that we have a SAGE student that we're trying to help along their SAGE journey to help place them in an internship at our lab. And shout out to our Livermore SAGE alumni. I see you out there, so I'm so glad that you've joined us today. There may be internships for high school students that come online a little later in the year. I believe that the computing division has a program, and the recommendation is that you have to be 18 and a recent high school graduate and have participated in a STEM club. But I noticed this morning that that internship was not posted yet. That's currently our only high school internship that I'm aware of that will come online. So be mindful for Livermore to just keep returning to that careers.lnl.gov website and check it regularly, or you can reach out to me directly at albala1 at llnl.gov or stem-ed at llnl.gov, and I'll put those in the chat. So with that, I just want to encourage you all to apply to different places, and to know that if for some reason, thanks Anna, if it doesn't work out for you this year, there's always next year, right? Or the year after. All the labs host both undergrads and grads during the summer. And it's a great way, even if you're doing undergraduate research at your college, to come and have a different experience at the National Lab. An academic internship is similar, but yet different from a National Lab internship. And to have all of these different experiences only will foster a better base for your particular career journey, but really give you a lot of opportunity, as was said before, to decide what you like and don't like as a potential future career environment. And with that, I'll pass it on to Slack.
Thanks, Joanna. Hi, everyone. Home stretch here, so we'll try to keep it short but interesting. So the research we do at Slack kind of ranges from looking at the tiniest things we can observe to the biggest things we can observe. So we have this 2-mile long, 3-kilometer tunnel, which houses electron accelerators. We also have circular electron accelerators. And what we do is we literally take electrons out of materials, right? We're all made of electrons, protons, neutrons. Everything we touch is made out of these. And oh, I forgot to mention I'm an accelerator physicist at Slack, so that's why I'm particularly excited about this stuff and working at Slack in general. But so we take those electrons, we speed them up super fast, and then we use those electrons to make really strong X-rays. So that's this ultra fast science we're talking about, and the advanced accelerator technology on the left-hand side of the slide. So we're looking at materials, we're looking at new battery candidates, medicine. You see that you might recognize COVID here on the slide. So people are using these X-rays to do a wide variety of science and engineering experiments to try to gain knowledge that could help people in some way in the future, right? And then we also, on the other side of the spectrum, we also do things that we observe in the universe. So if some of you might have recently seen pictures that came out of the Vera Rubin facility. So we shipped this giant camera, one of the largest cameras ever built, and they put it on the top of a mountain in Chile, and we can now make all kinds of observations, large sky observations with this camera. And so that camera was built at Slack. It was a long-term project and then shipped a big collaboration with lots of colleges and universities and other labs. And people are now using that to observe the universe. So we have lots of different research areas. So if anything super small or super big interests you, we do all of it and in between. Okay, so on to my next slide. In addition to SULI and CCI, we also have an internship program that's specific to Slack called LCLS. So this is the LINAC Coherent Light Source. It's the name of that big accelerator that was on my last slide. And so that program, the LCLS internship, it has a 10-week paid program. The housing is provided. And this is open to anyone in college who is in a STEM degree. So if you're interested in, like I mentioned, looking at stuff that's really small with X-rays, or looking at, how to make accelerators better or how do accelerators work, that's a great program to look into. It's very competitive, but it's also big. So CCI and SULI plus LCLS, that's where the majority of our interns come from. So if you're interested in interning at Slack, I would recommend applying to both of those programs. You can apply to both of them. They're not exclusive. And then we have two other options here on the slide. So the Youth Opportunity Program is specifically for local students. So if you live in the California Bay Area or near the Bay Area, you can apply for this. This is trying to, and it's targeted towards people who don't have experience at all. So I know in the chat, some students were worried about, oh, if I don't have internship experience or research experience, this would be a good program to also apply for. Again, you can apply to all three of these if you live in the Bay Area. And then we sometimes have one-off or individual departments will post internships specific for their department. And then that one you just kind of need to keep an eye on our careers website. They get posted at all times of the year. They get posted for all kinds of groups and not just STEM majors. So these slides are going to go out. The links will be in the slides. You could check that out, but that's our careers page. And then I would just say, if you want to learn more about the research that we're doing, definitely just check out our slack.stanford.edu site. It was on the last slide as well. We also have virtual tours. If you live in the area, we have public tours you can join as well. I'll drop some links in the chat. And of course, like everyone has been saying in the chat, if you're interested, just reach out to your coordinator or the My Sage Journey email, and we will help connect you to the resources that you need. So looking forward to seeing some of your applications and hopefully see some of you at the lab. All right, and last but not least, I think next we'll talk about Sage internships. Loy will talk about Sage internships.
All right. Hi, everyone. LOY, that's me, Loy, Sage Program Coordinator focused on internships. As you have heard all morning, you have many, many choices for internships in 2026. And as Dr. Lebet from Los Alamos shared that graphic of the Sage journey, it's up to you to make an internship part of your Sage journey. But with all that information, where do you start, right? I would suggest two things. Identify what are you interested in, and if you are eligible for a specific program. If you're not, don't waste your time, right? So that's it. Know what you want and whether you're eligible. And then what we'd like you to do, as was asked earlier in the chat, is apply to more than one internship. I would apply to SULI and CCI if you're eligible for it. And number two, as described by Dr. Joanna Albala at the Livermore Lab, also apply for an internship that's funded by a specific lab. Could be LCLS at SLAC or one of the programs that Livermore or Berkeley offers. And then thirdly is also express your interest in a SAGE internship. And with that, we'll move to the next slide. What's unique about SAGE internships? SAGE internships, while most internships offered by the DOE and other labs are project focused, with a SAGE internship, the focus is on you. You want to make sure you learn at least one new technical skill. So skill development is our focus. And so when you apply, express your general area of interest. Let's say mechanical engineering. And so when you submit your information, whether it's a form, a cover letter, a resume, make that clear because as Dr. Albala said, make it easy for us to find a match for you. Whenever I talk to potential mentors, that's their first question. What is the student interested in doing? So if you're not clear on that, it'll be very hard to find a match. So be clear on that. And then also add any relevant classes so that mentors know that you have taken or plan to take, so that mentors know what to expect, whether you don't know much about this yet, and that's okay because your job is to learn, or maybe you've already taken classes and so they can add more things to the experience. Okay, the other thing is we have a focus on professional growth and developing your leadership toolkit. And when all the speakers said, let us know when you apply to any program at any lab, let us know. And one of the reasons is when we offer the professional growth sessions to the SAGE interns, we also open it up to any SAGE alumni that's in a summer program at any lab. And that is a great privilege and opportunity for you to hear these professional workshops while you're experiencing it during your internship. Okay, so on to the next slide. Where can you do this SAGE internships? Well, it depends on the location, right? Well, first of all, this is reserved for you as SAGE and Summer Physics Camp alumni. In New Mexico, they accept rising high school seniors, but for the most part, it's for 18-year-olds and up who are enrolled in college. And in the past, we've had internships at SLAC, at Berkeley, at Los Alamos. But next year, we're also hoping to have Oak Ridge and Brookhaven. So stay posted and stay in touch with your local, and with me also, with your local SAGE lead. All right, what's the step for a SAGE internship program? We have a SAGE internship interest form, so maybe Danny can put that in the chat. Fill it out. It's a very brief form. It's not an application form. It's just an interest form. Tell us what you're interested in, because it's open to all the different labs here in the consortium, right? And then always notify your local lab, contact, notify Dr. Lebat, Dr. Albala, Dr. Faith Dukes, and then follow the instructions from that local lab. Because even though it's a SAGE internship, you have to go through the application process that is different for each of those laboratories. So that's something important to remember. By the way, the reason I said apply to SULI and CCI first is because their deadline is in early January. It's easy to miss, which means you need to be looking now and submitting your application, I would suggest, before the holidays. Otherwise, you're spending the first week of January cramming for that, submitting that application. All right, my final slide is some of you asking for what's the link to the Livermore lab. It's in that slide. You can click on it when you get the slide deck, which will be sent out to you very soon. All right, back to you, Julia.
Okay, so we're skipping this. Okay.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay. Thank you to all the speakers. They did a great job at going through all the possible internship available at this national labs. And now you might feel overwhelmed. And we saw a lot of questions, but we would like to see if there are any other questions that we can answer for you. Do you have something that you want to tell us, that you want to get, you want to comment, you want to be more specific, let us know. In the meeting, I heard something about finding a mentor in order to get an internship. Could you explain more about that and ways we can find a mentor? Who wants to answer that?
Julia, I can.
Sorry.
All right. Let me know if you did not receive the email or the link to the 10-minute video, that one of our SAGE alumni created. She had a project at school. She was interested in it, and she contacted us. She said, hey, I'm interested in this project, and there's this particular scientist in Berkeley who's working on it, and I want to apply for an internship there. But I don't know if they're even offering internships. Well, due to the SAGE connections, we not only contacted the person who knew the professor, contacted the professor, got an internship, and she spent a summer at Berkeley Lab. She was a student at UC Santa Barbara, and she was on a SAGE internship at Berkeley Lab. That's in response to the question, and what was the question again about
how to find a mentor?
Finding a mentor, yeah. So Janavi in that video actually has some specific suggestions and also a tracking sheet, which helps you be organized, because it does take time and reaching out to your contacts and then trying to take advantage of that network.
So I want to add something here. So when you apply, this is Ana Llobet speaking from Los Alamos. When you apply for an internship through the website, imagine it being like a big pool with all the names of all the students that have applied for a specific internship, right? And for you to be picked to work on a specific area, someone needs to go there with a fishing rod, right? And pull your resume and your cover letter from this big pool of many, many, many students that applied for a specific internship. So that connection, that networking, you're not alone. So we can make this process easier as your cheerleader people. But if you tell us that you applied for internship A, B, and C, we can help you find people in the fields that you are interested in. And through that connection, the fishing rod from the mentor will go, it's more easy to go to your resume because of that networking. You are not alone looking for a mentor. The mentor might not have funding, but you might have SAGE funding, right? There was also a question about applying for many internships. I'm going to try to be very, very, very clear. So it's like the bingo or like the lottery. The more tickets you have, you increase your chances of winning, right? So apply for SULI if you qualify. Apply for CCI if you qualify. Apply for the local internships at a specific laboratory if you qualify. You know, reach out and see if you qualify for a SAGE internship. Something that SAGE didn't, that Lloyd didn't mention is that the SAGE funded internship is for 1 year only, right, SAGE? Right, Lloyd?
Yes.
Yeah, so is the SAGE internship is, you have funding for 1 year, will help you find a mentor. It's much easier to find a mentor when you come to a laboratory with funding, whether it is through SULI, through CCI, or through SAGE, than if you apply for an internship and the mentor needs to find the funding.
So I wanted to highlight that what Dr. Olivet described is the specific process at Los Alamos. In other labs, it may be more specific. For example, at SLAC, you actually have to go into the job site and apply for SAGE internship, and then internally we will find a mentor for you.
Yeah.
And don't think of it as a competition. Think of it as a match, because you cannot compete with a mechanical engineering student if you are into computer science. It's the mentor who's saying, well, what's the person interested in? So you might have the strongest qualifications in mechanical engineering, but they're looking for somebody who's probably more interested in physics. So just reflect on what you're interested in, and then share who you are, and then we'll go from there. And to the Dr. Olivet's point, maybe 1 year you get a SAGE internship. The following year you get a SULI internship. And then the third year you apply for a lab internship. That's really using internships to be a strong part of your SAGE journey. So don't be disappointed if you don't get matched with 1 year, because there's always a second year.
Perfect. Thank you. There's many other questions. Are many of the application for this internship at these different labs open yet? If not, is there an approximate time range when they'll start opening? Let's say next month, most of them start opening, and there are some that opens in February as well. Fortunately, you need to keep on checking, especially on those that you are interested in. Check the website and write down, it's always written when they're open, except SULI and CCI now they're closed because of the shutdown, but they will reopen soon. How you can increase your chances, we already said it many times. Contact your SAGE contact at the lab, and let us know, we can help. And then Milana, who is asking, who is best for recommendation letters if we are in our first semester of university? And there's a lot of answer to this question. Who is best for recommendation letters? Someone that really knows you, knows your character, has worked with you. So a past employer is fine. A past mentor, a past professor is good. We will send this recording after the meeting. Absolutely, it's going to be available on our YouTube SAGE journey page. So yes, this information is going to be available. Should we start contacting possible mentors before or after submitting our application? I would say before, but also after is fine.
So, Julia,
Yeah, you said after.
Yeah, typically at Los Alamos, because if you apply for an internship and all of a sudden you don't qualify, is the mentors field. So first you apply, and then you reach out and tell mentor A, hey, I apply for this internship, so they know where to find your resume and cover letters and things like that. That's on our end only. I only speak for Los Alamos.
So is there an interview portion of the application process? Sometimes there is, but not all of the internship have an interview application. So it depends on the type of internship. As Nicole said, SULI, CCI, LCLS do not have interview. It is based only on your application. I have also had friends who have told me that they have received internship by directly contacting the mentors. Do you recommend doing that? It is another venue to directly contact the mentors, but the mentors usually don't like to receive hundreds of requests because then they start ignoring them. So I would suggest you really select who you think is interesting. Maybe go through our SAGE program and coordinators so they can help access the mentor kindly and gently and not overwhelm them. They're not going to start looking for your internship. You really need to do the work and what kind of internship you want to apply.
So Julia, I wanted to emphasize that all the speakers here are your advocates because you, one way or another, have met them through your SAGE camp, wherever you come from. I also wanted to thank our guest from Fermilab, is it Cortez, for joining us today. Fermilab is an awesome lab. It's near Chicago, so if you haven't been to Chicago, think about it. By the way, last summer, a student from Fermilab applied for an internship at SLAC, and she was matched to a mentor. She'd never been to California. She stayed at a Stanford dorm, and she had a great time. So yeah, expand your view. Go apply for an internship in Los Alamos or New York.
Absolutely. And there's another question also, how should I find the mentors? Back again, contact your SAGE coordinator. Also, watch the video that we sent about how to apply for an internship. Those are very helpful and to actually understand how to do that work. Any other questions? I think we answered all of them. There's something new here. I think we answered all of them. Okay. So this recording will be available for those that arrived late or wanna check some of the information, but you receive also the slides with all the links and good luck to everyone. We hope to see you at in the National Labs this summer. And if it's not during the summer, there might be possibilities during the year as well. Less possibilities, but that's not something that, yeah, it's something that you can try as well. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for joining us. Good luck for your application. Do the job. Let us know. And make sure you know the deadlines, because the worst thing that you want to do is to prepare an entire application and then miss the deadline. So be careful about the deadlines.
Okay, and then sign up to join us on Saturday, Sage Alumni Gathering.
Sage Alumni Gathering next Saturday. You will hear about other Sage alumni that had a successful journey. So that's exciting too. See you soon. Thank you very much. And yes, we hope to see you at our national lab soon.